Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has again raked up the emotive issue of enacting a uniform civil code for India. Why should anyone marry more than once? He asked in a recent public rally. So, what is a uniform civil code? We at Niti Riti will explain this to you today. Every criminal in this country is tried under the same law, the Indian Penal Code and the CRPC. But in personal family matters such as marriage, divorce, maintenance, inheritance and succession, different religions have different laws. These are called personal laws. These have historically continued from the British era. The British changed the uniform criminal code, but they did not touch the civil code. For example, Muslims have the Shariat law. Similarly, Christians and Parsis have their own law. Over the years, there's been a demand that all religions in the country have a uniform civil code. This essentially refers to a common law which will deal with all personal and family matters across religions. But no one is clear what a uniform civil code entails. That's because no party, no government has framed a draft to debate this issue. Should we have one law dealing with all these subjects, or should we have separate ones dealing with each of them? Who can bring in a uniform civil code? Marriage and divorce matters are on the concurrent list. So ideally, Parliament will make a law and states can tweak it as per their local requirements. But there's a chance in all this that all these laws will end up being in conflict with each other. But why are some opposing the law and others clamoring for a uniform civil code? Conservative elements in all religions opposed to gender equality in property matters, inheritance and succession issues object to a uniform civil code. For example, the largest minority community, the Muslims in this country, say that this issue involves the community's religious and cultural identity, which is protected under Article 25 of the Constitution. They believe that the Uniform Civil Code is a backdoor attempt to impose Hindu values and laws on every Indian. Muslim women will get a bigger share in property and equality in matters of divorce and maintenance. Others say that a uniform civil code will be very tough to implement in a multicultural, multi-religious country like India. Within the Hindus, the tribals of the Northeast and Kerala have their own personal laws based on the matrilineal systems they follow. Why do some Hindus want a common civil code? Hindu personal laws have been largely codified in this country, despite opposition from conservative elements and India's first president Rajendra Prasad. The Hindus are governed by the Hindu Marriage Act 1955. Under this law, which applies to Hindus, Buddhists and Jains, bigamy is an offence. No man can marry twice. This is reflected also in the civil service rules, under which a government servant stands to lose his job if he remarries. But which is the only state in this country to have such a law? Goa is the only state to have a uniform civil code. It's a Portuguese civil code. And it is not a uniform civil code, it's a common code. There's so many exceptions to this law. What do our constitution and courts have to say about this? Article 44 of the Constitution says that the government must enact a civil code. Courts have also spoken up for a uniform civil code in at least 3 cases. This includes the very famous Shah Banu case, in which the courts extended Section 125 CRPC granting maintenance to divorced women to also Muslim women. Muslim women till then were not granted maintenance, but the courts in the Shah Banu case extended it to Muslim women. What are the advantages of a uniform civil code? A uniform civil code will be more gender neutral. It will give equal property rights to daughters and sons and ensure greater unity between citizens. How will it impact the Hindus though, who have been clamoring for it? The Hindu undivided family provision allows Hindus to be taxed less than families of other religions. This will have to go if any such code comes in. What is the situation in other countries? In European countries? European countries have a far lesser job of enacting a uniform civil code. It's a much more homogeneous set of nations with a very small number of minorities. India, in contrast, is a big country with a large minority population. Even theocratic states like Pakistan, Bangladesh have modified their civil codes to ban bigamy and also allow it in certain circumstances. So why are things so difficult in India? India is a big country, heterogeneous country with many religions. Each have their own traditions and customs, and therefore the problem. It would have been much easier if India had been homogeneous like Europe. Most of them are Christians, and the traditions and customs are largely similar. So they do not have existential issues involving minorities to deal with. In India, therefore, we need a consensus, a political consensus on this. The government would be well advised to work on a political consensus. Otherwise, it will meet with a lot of opposition from conservative elements, making it difficult to pass any such law. The Law Commission has actually said that there is no need to have a uniform civil code, and the government could just change the Special Marriage Act a little bit and make it a uniform civil code. The Special Marriage Act is currently used by people of different religions to marry. For example, if you're a Hindu and the woman is a Muslim, then you could marry under the Special Marriage Act. But some legal experts say that it is unnecessary. There is no need. Law has progressed so much through courts that courts have narrowed down the differences between different communities in these areas, in areas of marriage, divorce, maintenance, adoption, inheritance and succession. They give the example of section 125 CRPC. The Rajiv Gandhi government actually brought in the Muslim Women Protection on Divorce Act 1986 to deny Muslim women this protection after Shah Banu ruling. But the courts don't follow it at all. That law remains a dead letter. I hope this has clarified a lot of your doubts. Thank you.